Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So I just thought I'd give you a little bit of an update about Travis Decker and these three beautiful girls of his. And Travis, of course, for reasons that are beyond all of us, normal thinking people, um, Travis Decker is the father of these three children, three girls, and he decided he had a couple of hours of what's the word, like custody. He was granted custody just for a couple of hours each weekend, I think, or on a regular basis, but just a couple of hours. He wasn't allowed to have them overnight. Took these girls off one day uh, and didn't bring them back. And then subsequent police enquiries, etc., trying to find Travis, very traumatically for the police and, of course, for the girl's mother, Whitney. These girls were found deceased, and they had been actually red-rumped by their own father. So no other DNA was found at the scene, so it must have been Travis who did it. The problem now is Travis can't be found. So I've reported on this case a couple of times. My own personal feeling is that he's probably deceased somewhere because he cannot be found. But he's got experience in survivalism. He was, I think, was he an ex-Marine? He was certainly in the forces, so it's thought that he has some experience on how to survive out in the wild. He used to like going up and doing that kind of thing. You know, that's something he enjoyed doing. He's definitely had mental health issues towards when this terrible thing happened. And in fact, Whitney, the girl's mum, she was trying to stop these visits. But, you know, when the court decides that you have to allow them to visit with their other parent, man or woman, you have to do it, and you have to comply with it. And quite often it's led to tragedy, hasn't it? Because Whitney knew that Travis was not himself, and she tried her very best to not, you know, comply with these court orders. But anyway, she was right, the courts were wrong, and they bear responsibility, I think, for these three girls' deaths as well. So then he went on the run, or that's how he left his dog there. Didn't kill his dog, killed his three daughters, didn't kill his dog. The dog was still there. There was a bloody fingerprint found on the back of his truck, apparently, but everything's been tested, all the DNA on the girls who were, I'm not going to go into how they were killed, but believe me, it was brutal as well. You know, you just can't imagine how a father could do that. You know, they would have known exactly what was happening to them. So it's really, really vicious, nasty. I can't wait to put him in the hellhole. When he's caught or found, if he's deceased, he'll go in the hellhole with the other twonks who we talk about. Anyway, for now, he was being searched for. So the update that I want to give you really is that they're scaling back the search, which is a shame, isn't it? Search efforts scaled back. It's been 2 months. Search efforts scaled back due to decrease in leads and tips. So he's been on the run for nearly 2 months, or is he dead somewhere? So nearly 2 months after he allegedly murdered his three daughters, the Chelan County Sheriff's Office said it was beginning to scale back search efforts for Travis Decker. Paityn Decker 9, Evelyn Decker 8, and Olivia Decker 5. Three little girls, three little angels, his own children, were found dead near the Rock Island campground in Chelan County, Washington, on June the 2nd, after they left home for a planned visit with their father on May the 30th, according to police. While the search for Decker will continue, Officials said Friday it will do so. So that's last Friday. If you're watching this as I'm making this video or releasing this video, it is a Wednesday. So this was last Friday. They said that. It will do so with a reduced footprint while the criminal investigation remains ongoing. And they described the search efforts around the wilderness and initial crime scene as exhaustive. So did he have a place, a special place that he's taken himself off to do something to himself? I was surprised that he left that scene. You would expect to, in these cases, you normally find the perpetrator not that far away from the crime scene, because he'll have wanted to, in his twisted mind, he'll have wanted to be with his girls. But you know what? He's not going where they've gone, that's for sure. Even if he is dead or when he does die, he isn't going where they are. He's going in the hellhole. Gosh, maybe he's already there. So here he is. I can't look at him without, I just want to, punch him, because I just cannot believe he did this. He's a big, muscly man. 3 little girls, defenseless. His own daughters trusted him. Reminds me of Chris Watts. There's murder of any kind is terrible, but these are you just can't wrap your head around it, can you? They just wouldn't stand a chance, defenseless. So, big man Travis. Big man Travis murdered 3 little girls, his own daughters. As of today, Mr. Decker still has not been located, and there is insufficient information to suggest that he is alive, nor if he is deceased. So there's nothing. Now, there was some information. There was some, sightings, false sightings. The thing is, Travis, with his baseball cap on and everything. Let's have a look at the other picture. It could be, there's a million men that will look like him in America, in national parks and things. The case that I'm going to talk about shortly, the other case, this is a case I'm going to talk about live later, Devil's Den. It was part of me that when I saw that, I thought, God, that could be Travis Decker, really. You know what I mean? They all look the same when they've got their baseball caps on and what have you. But I think that's a little bit too far away, though. In 2 months, he could certainly have got there. So that's in Arkansas, I think. Arkansas, sorry. I've forgotten where it is, but I'll be telling you about it later. It's a 16-hour drive from where Travis went missing, so it's unlikely to be him, but made me think of him straight away. Because at the end of the day as well, he is dangerous. He's very dangerous. A man who's killed his 3 daughters, his own daughters, is not going to blanch at killing anybody else, is he? He's done the worst that you can do. So killing other people. Also, I feel for Whitney, his estranged wife, apart from the fact she's lost her 3 daughters. But as long as he is not been apprehended or his body hasn't been recovered, she must be terrified that he's coming after her. So despite a decrease in leads and tips on where Decker may be, the sheriff's office said that detectives remain actively engaged in processing evidence and will continue to follow up on any new information they receive on the father's possible whereabouts, including the sighting in Idaho earlier this month, which turned out not to be Decker. I think there's been 2 sightings that turned out. I mean, just look at these girls. Olivia, Paityn and Evelyn. How could you? How could you? It's foul. It's more than evil, more. Sometimes I really wonder, the devil is out there, isn't he? And he gets into people. People, you've got to have the devil in you to do something like that. You've got to be possessed, more or less. I mean, how could you? You just couldn't. whatever your problems were, whatever your mental illness was, whatever PTSD crap you say you had, I'm sorry, you can't use these things as excuses. It's pure evil to look into those little girls' faces as they're looking at you. You're their daddy, and they should be able to trust you. Same as Chris Watts. It's just unforgivable, unconscionable. Whatever your mental state is, look at those little faces, and to do what he did to them, which was pretty, it just it was beyond evil in my eyes. So the most recent search for Decker was conducted in the Blewett Pass area in the Wenatchee Mountains, but the potential evidence and intelligence gathered in this area are inconclusive, meaning we cannot confirm any of the information is directly associated with Mr. Decker. So in other words, they just don't know anything, do they? They're no further on whatsoever from where they were. That's worrying, isn't it? Nothing. So how has he disappeared so effectively? Leaving nothing, no trail behind, nothing. That's why I think maybe he's somewhere that will he end up being found somewhere? How can I explain it? But maybe they've already checked, like the water. There is water there, and that we know from other cases we've covered, bodies that go into water can take a long time to surface, if ever. So is that why he hasn't been found? Will he be eventually found just really locally, but just hasn't, had been missed? I mean, you can't believe he would be missed because they've had the dogs out there, they've had, experts out there, search experts. Or has he sort of gone off to a completely different area? There was talk that he'd been looking at living in Canada, and had he gone over the border to Canada? Has he? What did he have with him? Because he left a lot of stuff there, but you don't know if he had, he left his phone and etc. His normal stuff he left there at the scene. But did he have another bag, like a go bag, with a different passport? Had he been planning it? Did he have a different ID, money, stuff like that? Or did he have a place up there that he'd been to before where he had provisions and stuff hidden? Just how can he just disappear completely? That just is impossible, isn't it? So he's there somewhere, or he's out there in the world somewhere. Is this going to turn into an ongoing, forever type case? And these people that have been shot in Devil's Den, as I say, although it's a 16-hour drive from there, and but this doesn't mean to say he couldn't have made his way over there, does it? To me that's a couple who've been killed while they're out in the park, and they had 2 children with them, but the children were left alive, thankfully. It could possibly have been Travis, couldn't it? Is he in another national park hiding, a danger to everybody, even though it's such a long, so far away? It's the first thing I thought of, just because if he is out there somewhere, he probably is hiding in some national park. And he is a danger to society. As I say, he murdered these 3 little beauties, his own children. He's not going to think twice about murdering anybody else. Anyway, officials said that anyone who does come across anything to mark the location using GPS or other marking form, if they're able to, and even take pictures if it is safe. Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison told ABC News earlier this month that officials remain hopeful that they find Decker and are aware this hunt could be a long haul. So here he is, Twonk Elite. We could be in a fight for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. God, I certainly hope we're looking at a couple of weeks and it closes out, but it could be a long time and we are committed to staying with it. So this is him. I mean, as I say, I think you can see not a brilliant resemblance, but it could be him, couldn't it? So I'll tell you what looks a little bit similar, because he's got like quite a weak chin, hasn't he, this guy? And so as Travis. But you know what? He could have, if he's shaved his beard off, I think if he'd shaved his beard and moustache off, I think that quite easily could be him, couldn't it? But, I don't know. Now, well, I'm going to talk about that later in the live anyway in more depth, but him smiling there, just want to poke his eyes out, don't you? So the US Marshal Service is still offering a reward of up to $20,000 for information leading directly to his arrest. Officials said that anyone who sees Decker or knows of his whereabouts should call 911 immediately and not contact or approach him. He is currently wanted for 3 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of kidnapping, officials said, and he should be considered armed and dangerous. I mean, it's terrifying, really, isn't it? Because he could be anywhere. He's armed and dangerous, or possibly armed and dangerous. And he could be literally anywhere in America by now, couldn't he? Could be anywhere. So when, in these national parks, which are beautiful places and people should feel safe, shouldn't they? Should be able to go out and enjoy them, like that family that I'm going to talk about later. They should be able to, shouldn't have to worry about somebody shooting them. Some nutcase roaming wild in the woods. So annoying, because it's like the nutters, the mad people or the dangerous people, they're free to do what they want, go where they want, because they don't, they're probably carrying a gun anyway. They don't worry about other nutters, do they? But then normal people aren't safe. Normal people aren't safe. You go take your kids out for a hike, like the family we're going to talk about later, and boom, kids are made orphans. So that's Travis, and I just wanted to give you that update. Now, something I've noticed while I've been covering true crime is quite often when the police declare that they're going to scale back a search, whether it's a water search, whatever search, then they tend to find them, don't they? That quite often happens. They say they're scaling back the search, next minute, boom, they turn up. Let's hope that's what happens in this case. But unfortunately, as things go at the moment, they're scaling back the search for this horrible man who killed his own children, these 3 beautiful girls. Gosh, he's in for some, he's definitely going to be spinning in hell, but sooner the better as far as I can see. Maybe he's already there doing that. But those 3 little babies, hope they're okay where they are. They're just innocent souls taken away by an evil man. And hopefully they're exactly, where they deserve to be, sleeping in the arms of Jesus. Or not sleeping, having a good time, playing, doing the limbo dancing that we watched a video of them doing. You can only hope that the next life, which is going to treat those girls better than this life did, their own father. Anyway, thank you for caring about the girls. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to support my channel further, why not become a member? Or you can buy this channel Ko-fi or send super stickers, etc. But the most important thing you can do for this channel and for these victims that we talk about is watch, like, subscribe, care. Thank you. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Thank you.